Hello! Welcome to Nosh with Nish. Okay, so for those meat fans out there, not you, Anna Simmons, we're also doing a lamb Rogan Josh, one of Ellie's favourites. So I've marinated some lamb with some Sharwood's Rogan Josh paste. Other brands are available. Actually, you probably would have chosen Patax normally. Don't know if you get that in Germany, guys, but yeah. Some sort of paste. You can get Balti paste, tikka paste. They all work. They all taste nice. So the ingredients for the lamb Rogan Josh. You need about 250 grams of lamb. We've used lamb breast, but you can use other parts. Diced lamb. You can even use minced lamb if you fancy. Rogan Josh paste, 1 tablespoon of that. 1 tin of tomatoes, either plum or chopped, doesn't make a difference. 1 onion diced, normally use a brown onion. 2 cloves of garlic with the skin off and finely diced. Fresh chili, 1 or 2 chilies depending on how spicy you like stuff. Cardamom pods, about 3 to 4 pods smashed. Stick of cinnamon as well, which will help with the sweetness of the lamb. Okay, so in this pan I'm going to make the Rogan Josh. So to bring out sort of the sweetness in the meat, I'm going to crack in and dry fry some cinnamon. What else do we want? Yeah, I might put some cardamom in there, why not? So you'll see the pods, they're kind of enclosed. If you just give them a little hit, they break open. You can see that? You just put that in. Remember not to eat them when you're having the dish because it will totally ruin your taste. Actually, cardamom is really good for fresh breath, so if you want to suck on it afterwards, it's pretty good. Okay, the cinnamon and the cardamom, it's been toasting for about a minute and you can really smell the cinnamon coming off now. So what we're going to do is add the sunflower oil. Whoop. Brilliant. And we're just going to let that heat up as well. Okay. Okay, so the heat has been on fairly low for this pan. This pan's slightly different to the others that you'll see in the other videos that I've done. Because this is stainless steel, it heats up quicker. You can tell when the oil is ready because you can see around the cinnamon that it starts bubbling. I've just thrown in a couple of bits of onion in there, and as you can see, as it goes in, it starts to bubble like the ones on the outsides. So that tells you that it's ready. I'm going to use red onion because I think that's going to go really well with lamb. But you can use white onion as well. If this was chicken, you could do exactly the same with chicken as well. I'd use normally white onion, but red onion is fine. We could put a bit more in. What the onion does is it makes a really nice thick sauce, so it's fine to put loads of onion in because that's really good. What I'm going to do is just make sure it's all covered in oil, so good, cook nice. And what I might do now is pop a lid on top. There you go, and leave it on fairly low so it's just cooking through. Okay, so I've been told to stress how important getting the onions is right. Really take the time. That is going to take the most time in this whole process, getting the onions to brown but not be black. And it's a bit like they spend forever white, and then they go brown, black. So try and hit them when they're that sort of caramelized brown colour. So you see, this is still white, or the red ones are still red, but they are turning brown. They're getting there, but still not quite ready. Don't rush the onions. If you get the onions right, you'll have a really nice thick sauce. Back on the Rogan Josh, you can see the onions have been cooking really, they're really softened up now. They're at that brown stage. You might not get a great view through the camera, but they're at a really brown stage. which is exactly perfect where we want them to be. So for this one, instead of adding the spices right now, we're going to leave the dry spices because they're part of the paste that we've used on them to marinate the lamb. But we will add a little bit of chili, a little bit of garlic, probably a bit more, again to taste. That should be enough. I'm going to let this cook for a bit, so let the chili garlic cook. So no dry spice on this one because we've pre-marinated the lamb, and that's already got the turmeric, red chili powder, all of that bits in there. So just let these cook a little bit with the lid on. We just added the garlic and fresh chili. We let it cook for a couple of minutes. You can see the onions are really nice golden brown. You can smell the cinnamon coming out. So we didn't add any dry spice because we pre-marinated the lamb in that. What we're going to do is we're going to add some chopped tomatoes. Doesn't have to be Waitrose, it's just what we've got in the house. I mean, I would use a full tin, but I'm going to save some of those for another dish that I'm making at the moment. We've also got a plum tomato in here. So we're going to add that in there. And we're just going to break up that plum tomato. So it's going to look really red at the moment from the tomato, which is nice. Once we add the lamb, and again it could be chicken, it could be fish, it could be chickpeas, whatever. It's kind of a basic, this. So when you do the parting of the sea, you can see that it's the tomato that's coming back on itself. That's really important because I'll tell you how you know it's ready, because that'll look slightly different. Okay, we're back on the Rogan Josh. So remember, I just added the chopped tomatoes or plum tomatoes, and I said I'd let them cook through. I talked to you about parting of the tomato, so you can see that it's closing in on itself, but a little bit slower, which means the onions and the tomatoes are infusing. What we're waiting to happen is for the tomatoes and onions to stick together, but the oil to come through. So at the moment it's a mix of oil and tomato. What we want is just the oil. As you can see, it's happening a little bit up here. So look, we can see that the tomatoes have really cooked down well with the onion. So, parting of the sea, see? I mean, you might not be able to see that well, but it's the oil that's seeping out, and it's not the tomato sauce that's falling out. That means we're ready to add the meat. Again, like I said, this could be chicken, this could be fish. This is where we'll add our meat, but we can use chicken, you can use fish, you could use chickpeas, like basically anything. So, I mean, they're just the bony bits. They're not marinated, obviously, but here is like the main meaty bit. I mean, we're trying lamb breast, never used it before. It's not a particularly meaty part, but we thought we'd give it a try. This has been pre-marinated in that Rogan Josh paste, so you can see the colour's going to come through the turmeric and all the spices that is already in the marinade. So yeah, if I was going to use lamb, lamb mince works really well, or like diced leg of lamb. It's expensive though, so you know, try different cuts. See how it goes. Just make sure that all the lamb is in there. So you're probably thinking, oh, he didn't cook the lamb first. No, I cook my meat in the sauce. That means that as it cooks the lamb, it will infuse with the sauce that's already there, rather than being, you know, just meat tasting and then with a bit of sauce on top. And that's pretty much it, guys. I'm going to let that cook. How long am I going to let that cook? Probably half an hour. Keep checking on it, keep spinning it, adding water as and when needed. Cool, so we're going to finish off that lamb Rogan Josh. So the last point that we had, we just added the meat to the paste and tomato sauce. And what you're going to do with the lamb is just cook it really slowly in the sauce. let the sauce really infuse with the meat. Make sure it doesn't dry out though, so do add a little bit of water, cook through, let it cook. Again, once that water's gone, add a little bit more water, and it depends on the kind of consistency that you want of the sauce. If you want it drier and thicker, cook down the water till it goes, until the meat's really soft. If you want it a bit more soupy, again, just add more water and just make sure the water mixes in with the sauce and kind of like loosens up. Ensure that the meat's cooked. With lamb it's a bit easier, because if it isn't, like, you know, fully cooked, it's okay, because it will still, you can still eat lamb kind of like raw. Just make sure it doesn't go too dry, yeah, so just keep adding water and making sure that it doesn't stick to the bottom of the pan. What's really good with lamb actually is if you can do half the cooking the day before, like to the point where I showed you before, and then warm it up again the next day and eat it the next day. Actually, it's had longer for the flavours to infuse, so it normally tastes even better the next day. And to finish it off, I chop up some coriander, like I've said with the other dishes on this programme. Sprinkle a bit of coriander on top, and serve, and you've got a bit of greenery on there as well. So yeah, enjoy the lamb Rogan Josh. And like I said, you can do it with chicken, you could do it with fish, you could do it with prawns, you could do it with paneer, you could do it with tofu maybe. I mean, I wouldn't try that, but yeah, try it out. So thank you for watching Nosh with Nish. It'd be really great to get some feedback. So let me know how the dishes worked for you, if they were tasty. If you've got any questions, feel free to contact me, you've got my details. And if there's any other dishes that you think, oh, I'd quite like to know how to cook that, why don't you drop me a line, find out if I know how to do it. If not, I'll work it out, and maybe we can make another video based on requests. So yeah, let me know how it goes, and take care everyone.